my beautiful queen's throne. This is where she sits. But I mustn't think about it. I can't stop. Oh yes, my queen.
Well, this is something. Weebs, gamers, and whoever that guy is, as a person who has watched anime for a long time, be honest, sometimes we get so bored of the same old cutesy toe where nothing ever happens. You know, the cute girl doing very cute things, sometimes the same old food is just not good enough anymore. Tuna sandwich? Get that shit out of here! Yes, I hate tuna, and it is the worst possible thing I've ever put in my mouth. Sometimes there comes a time where I like to watch shows that came out from a different time, shows that have a much bigger concept than reincarnating as a washing machine. I am one of those people who really like to look back on the things that have made this type of media evolve the way it did. Because I'm not gonna lie, I want to know what went wrong. There are so many isekai shows that it is hard to keep track of the amount of absolute garbage people have come up with. And the pile just keeps growing every couple of months. I feel like Japan at this point will make anything reincarnate, and make that reincarnate anything. Like the anime about a person reincarnating as a vending machine in a fantasy world. Yes, this is a very real thing. Maybe even reincarnating as a sword. Okay. Or how someone can reincarnate as a dog, a show that will test your resistance towards degeneracy, and the further you watch it, the more of your hope of humanity will crumble, which I let myself watch in its entirety. So, here's an idea. Make a show about a guy who becomes a magical bathtub. Because, why the heck not? Does this count? I feel like this kind of counts. Back then, at a different time, a different place, we used to have something called OVAs, or Original Video Animations. Old animations that people would watch back when streaming never existed. There are a lot of OVAs that were out for a while, and fun fact, if you like JoJo's now, look how it looked way back then. Feeling old yet? Out of all the shows that have been released during that time, one of them stood out to me a lot above the rest. It was a show that was released in 1995 with only 6 episodes, which made it really easy to skim through. It only took me the same day to watch it from start to finish, which I gotta say is probably one of the funniest 6 episodes I have ever seen. This is a comedy anime, which to be honest I would say doesn't exist. Let me explain. Comedy anime is very hard to find. Considering how many shows say they have comedy, the gags they do aren't as well thought out. Some of the comedy that is brought to the table just gets repeated so many times. It feels just as stale as a bag of hot Cheetos when they never close the bag for a while, or just pizza that they give you during high school. That dry ass chicken sandwich you just keep munching on. That's most comedy anime, which is why there is Golden Boy, one of the few exceptions that not only made me spit out my drink from laughing so hard, but is an anime that was genuinely funny. However, as funny as this show is, I do know about the darkness of the continuation of the manga, and I have an idea of which way it might have gone. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of things about it. Golden Boy was looked at as well-aged, like fine wine type of show, and is still considered a classic. Golden Boy, an OVA animated by APPP, a studio that specializes in OVAs. The studio did not make many OVAs, but Golden Boy is one of them. As for how to describe this show, it is not only funny, but it is also, as you can say, batshit crazy. It just takes the formula of a normal everyday anime and throws it into a grinder, crushes it, and out pops out what can be called a masterpiece. Kentaro Oe, a 25-year-old college student who left their college early because he finished all of his assignments required to graduate early. So with his bored life, he decided to try and experience new things by taking multiple part-time jobs. He takes his trusty bike and travels all over Japan because he had nothing else to do. The jobs he takes can vary. Each episode is a new adventure as he takes on a different job every time. It is such a simple premise that it does sound like a typical slice of life anime. However, it is far from the truth. To me, this show is goofy, fun, and probably gets you to ask many questions. Why does Kentaro sound like that? How did he learn to use a computer using a piece of cardboard and paper? Why the fuck are all these women so hot? My answer to that is, I have no fucking idea. Kentaro as a character is a righteous man, hardworking, and loves to try new things. He keeps a notebook for education purposes, and actually takes all of his notes seriously since knowledge to him is very valuable. However, even with him as his cool and righteous personality, he has a different side that really just shows how weak he is, being near any woman in existence.
Oh, I'm feeling shivers running up and down my spine. Look at those eyes all pumped up for the kill. They're piercing me right through my heart. Yes! I think I'm gonna have an orgasm.
Like, as a person, he's a really good guy, but he is probably more down bad than your average Genshin player. He even keeps a notebook for education purposes. But even if he is probably the most thirsty man in existence, he still for some reason has more riz than anyone in existence. If you were to compare this to other shows that have similar to characters like this, you would stop and think,
wait a minute!
how the fuck did he even succeed into making women like him, even though he probably spends thousands of dollars on tier 3 OnlyFans subscriptions? I also have no fucking idea. Just like Denji from Chainsaw Man, he got that dog in him. The amount of time this guy wants to be dominated by any woman at all is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in my life. Sometimes you could see it as unreal how bad this guy's condition is. He has something I like to call surplus horny disorder. That's a terrible idea. Cut that shit out. Just say the word titties and he can break the sound barrier, biking towards your location to ask for the sauce. He will jump off a cliff for some pussy, risk his entire existence for it. It doesn't matter if this woman is too high class for anyone or has an ego of a cracker. He will allow any woman to kick him on the floor, spit on him, run him over by a car. Kentaro is just an easy target for attractive women to just do anything with him. Just the fact that he has also no shame in what he is admirable. However, not as admirable as having a literal boner in the middle of a public pool with a bunch of children over. Each episode, there's always another woman for Kentaro to get his knees over. Also, sometimes he can go a little far as drinking a pool out of... you know what, never mind. There is a list of dubbed anime that are considered better in dub. There's an army of people we know that will defend subbed anime till the day they die. Fuck them. Sometimes out there exists an entire list of dub anime that everyone seems to agree is better in dub. This one is definitely one of those. I'm going to give credits where credits due. Golden Boy cannot be enjoyed the same if it weren't for its translating counterpart. It just isn't the same experience. Just how Ghost Stories is considered comedy because of one of its famous clips.
That's what I'm talking about! Pump! 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 Think of a big black man chasing you!
The experience between the two is just too different, which is always what keeps me interested in anime, because I find disasters like these, just the fact that there's always something interesting out there is what keeps me hooked on this type of entertainment. I just really like weird stuff. It really is crazy to me that a show like this exists. I didn't even know of its existence until I saw it all over Twitter, saw clips on YouTube. It made me curious because Golden Boy is such a rare gem to dig up. Since it is very short, it's also pretty easy to finish. It was a 6-episode roller coaster of a show, which felt only like 30 minutes. You get attached to these characters a little bit easily, especially Kentaro since he is the star of the show. I have never laughed so hard even when rewatching it just to make this video. I cannot recommend this enough for anyone who just wants a good laugh. If you like comedy and shows like Psyche, Konosuba, or even Gintama because of how funny it was, it is the best medicine to cure my depression and probably yours.